When the world falls apart, what will matter most? A veterinarian, a corporate executive, a CDC investigator, a mechanic, pilot, a frightened young boy. As a mysterious outbreak spreads across Texas, this group of ordinary people faces extraordinary choices in a world that's changing fast. This isn't your typical zombie story. Heavy with medical and emotional realism and unforgettable characters, That Which Separates Man explores what happens when survival is no longer enough and humanity itself hangs in the balance. If you enjoy The Last of Us, Contagion, or character-driven survival horror, That Which Separates Man by Raven and Rick Rollins is available now in paperback and on Kindle Unlimited.
I thought that we should probably talk about myths, legends, and cryptids. And so I have my friend Simon Vaughn with me, and I have given him basically his own segment called Cryptids Unscripted with Simon Vaughn.
Yep. I've yet to find an aluminum hat that completely fits my rather bulbous head. So now, with the disclaimer out of the way, buckle up, y'all. It's about to get weird.
From chilling novels and psychological thrillers to horror short stories, film and screenplays, to true crime, podcasts, music, and the art of storytelling itself, Dreadfully Yours invites listeners into conversations with the minds behind the stories that stay with us. Hosted by author, audiobook narrator, and podcaster Raven Rollins, each chapter blends cinematic narration with intimate discussions exploring creativity, suspense, and the human experiences woven into dark storytelling. Welcome to the show, where stories linger long after the last page. This is Dreadfully Yours.
This is someone's first tiptoe into cryptids. So what exactly is a cryptid? How do you know what a cryptid is?
There's numerous definitions of a cryptid, but what cryptid refers to is a cryptozoological creature, which is an actual term, mind you.
Because there's cryptozoologists.
A cryptozoological creature is a creature that is either reported in human history but never witnessed by first-hand scientific account, or has been witnessed in some way, shape, or form and can't be explained. And yet it displays physically all the telltale signs of a living creature.
So like your basic ones would be Bigfoot.
Those are your common ones.
Yes, your common ones would be like Bigfoot and
South America, there's the chupacabra.
Yes, the chupacabra.
Because there's also Bigfoot in the south. That's the skunk ape.
The Loch Ness Monster.
The Loch Ness Monster qualifies as a cryptid.
Yeah.
The best part about a lot of these things is whenever science does find some of these things that are old myths and legends and identifies them as an equally fascinating, legitimate creature.
Oh.
And I don't mean like we suddenly found Bigfoot and it's way scarier. No, I mean things like, case in point, the living rock.
Go on.
This is a real creature that's from the sea. Endoliths. Endoliths are organisms that live inside rocks or in pores between mineral grains. These creatures are thought to have been found in a large range of environments, from rocks on the Earth's surface to miles beneath the subsurface.
Okay.
They develop in cracks and holes in rocks and the ocean and other water environments, and they grow over time. They're mostly filter feeders. But for a long time...
we thought this was not a thing.
We thought this was an urban legend creature hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And the best part is, though, scientists have known about them now for a couple of 100 years. But let me ask you a question. Did you know that was a thing?
I did not.
See?
I did not know that was a thing,
and
right now.
For those of you out there who are interested in this, that is the approach I would recommend you take in looking up cryptids. From the same idea of not necessarily just wanting to discredit Bigfoot, but wanting to figure out why the hell there have been so many sightings of Bigfoot. Where some of these things come from. For years, we had actually, even living fossils. The coelacanth, fish. Look that bastard up sometime. That's a fish out of your nightmares. But the coelacanth was thought to be completely extinct because we had fossils of coelacanths.
Yeah.
And yet people were reporting seeing them, and that made no sense, which prompts, of course, dinosaur legends.
That big giant fish they found in that river that one time, they were like, oh my god, it's still alive from millions of years ago.
I believe so.
And it was like gnarly looking.
Yeah, it's very armored.
Yeah, it was gnarly.
It also has weird flippers that look like other fish are attached to it.
Oh.
Coelacanth. It's either coelacanth or coelacanth. I forget how to pronounce it. But yeah, it's a living fossil. It is a creature that we thought forever was extinct. And they can get as they can be as small as about 3 feet and as large as like 10 feet.
And also, the Mothman is a cryptid. I think
the Mothman is a cryptid.
I think it's got its own.
The Mothman has literally borderline its own religion. From how popular it is. Those events and everything that got tied to the Mothman are fascinating. And for those of you who may be familiar with these things, yet again, don't focus on the monster.
Right.
Focus on the parts that can't be explained.
Right.
And then you're searching for a cryptid.
Right.
Because, yes, there's loads of ways to say that there is no Mothman and it had nothing to do with the bridge disaster. And yet, why did so many people on that day say they saw something on the bridge?
And also, I wanted to take a minute to have you explain, like, basically, your cryptids have nothing to do, they're not demons. They're not. Not your typical.
Not your typical
Catholic. I have to exorcise it. Demon.
We're not talking about Linda Blair throwing up pea soup here all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do. But what we're talking about are creatures that are possible, just zoological finds yet to be discovered. But we're also talking about things that are weirder than your standard good and evil.
Yes.
We started this off with culturally hardcore evil.
And a lot of them are creatures that they look like a creature. I don't know how else to explain it. It's something that you've never seen. It's a creature.
Which also falls under general human hysteria and that same thing of talking about your brain fills in the blanks.
Yes. Yeah.
So when encountered with something that you've never seen in your life, specifically, most people don't actually have the capacity to automatically recognize something in the dark.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a deer in the dark, by the way? They're fucking terrifying. Deer are horrifying looking in the dark.
Yeah.
Especially because their pupils are so big.
Yeah.
Their eyes are on fire. If you shine a light on a deer in the dark, that is a terrifying horned beast.
I mean, even if you find an owl in a tree in the dark, that's scared me a million times before.
And welcome to the Mothman.
Yeah.
Today's creature of interest is a widely known cryptid in the nightmare zeitgeist of the past and increasingly so in our own time. A monster that has haunted the shadows of humanity for as long as our fire-addled brains have been encouraging us to share our fears collectively. I'm talking about Skinwalkers today.
Ooh, I'm so ready for this.
So, let's start off with this. Raven, when the term Skinwalker is said to you, what do you think of? No wrong answers.
Okay, honestly, because I don't have... This is why I asked Simon to do this segment, because I do not have a lot of background or history or any sort of
Horror movies and pop culture are also A+ and gold stars,
okay,
so go ahead.
Yeah, we had discussed this previously, and I was like, man, I'm going to be referencing a lot of pop culture. So honestly, the very first thing that comes to mind is Skinwalkers by Stephen King.
And that's an excellent one. That's one of the ones that comes pretty close to the cultural understanding of it for a very specific reason. So you're starting from a better place than most people.
Okay.
Most people literally think it's somebody, I've asked this question of a couple of people before, and they think it's somebody who has skinned a person and are wearing their skin all Buffalo Bill style.
What? Really?
Like, yeah, I've gotten that answer like 3 different times going, that's almost more terrifying than what they actually talk about, but okay.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay.
So, for those of you who don't know, some of you probably are already listening going, yeah, get to it. I know what this is. Like, others are like, where's my Where's my murders? But
I'm gonna say some of them have been known in myths and legends to murder a lot, and we're gonna talk about that. So.
Skinwalkers are fascinating in that regard in myths and legends. The basest form of the skinwalker is a person possessing a supernatural ability to change into an animal or animals or a bestial form.
Okay.
Anthropologically speaking, this is the fun part. This is actually a common thing across numerous cultures beyond where the skinwalker even originated from. It's known as therianthropy.
Okay.
If that word sounds vaguely familiar to people, I'll say another word that falls under therianthropy. Lycanthropy.
Ah, there it is. Okay.
In anthropological studies, the study of shape-shifting is therianthropy. And you will find references to therianthropy in literally every shamanistic culture that has been documented or verbally held in human history.
Okay.
Going all the way back as far as ancient Sumeria.
So what you're saying is lycanthropy, which is werewolves, BT dubs, actually falls under the category of skinwalker.
Skinwalkers fall into the same category,
Okay.
what it is, anthropologically speaking.
Okay.
Therianthropy is what is the actual category in anthropological lore as far as shape-shifting into anything is therianthropy.
Gotcha.
Which includes the werewolves, which can be found in any culture, literally. In Asia, it's actually specifically to a dog, not a wolf. In Scotland, there is a legendary werewolf who's a Christmas and New Year's icon, actually, who will visit the houses of good people in the middle of the night as a scary-ass werewolf to bring you presents. Scotland's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, no. There are werecats in Europe, have been forever.
See, that's what was in Skinwalkers. Werecats. They
Were-
weren't like cats. They more like were cat people. But anyway,
We're going to talk about Stephen King's Skinwalkers,
We'll get
by
to
the way.
that.
Oh no, we absolutely will, because I'll tell you why he gets pretty darn close.
Okay.
There's the were-lions in Africa. There are were-creatures in every myth and legend in human history. And supernatural shape-shifting is just incredibly common, and it has been found all over the place. Mythological therianthropy, as in legends or cautionary tales or hubristic encounters of don't do that or you'll turn into a snake, well, that's everywhere.
Okay.
It's basically where you'll find myths of the werewolves, lycanthropes, but also it's been speculated to be present in human tradition as far back as Paleolithic pictograms in the French caves at Les Trois Frères, which, for those of you who recognize that,
I know what you're talking about.
the famous cave paintings in France. There are, largely through anthropological research and speculation mostly, there are pictograms in that cave that depict people adopting animal traits.
Okay.
And those are some of the oldest known human stories
Yeah.
on those walls. In truth, any culture that has an identifiable tie to shamanism in their past shares a common myth of supernatural human therianthropy.
Well, I mean, even ancient Egyptians, most of their gods are some sort of half.
You hit the
something.
nail on the head. When you look up therianthropy, one of the biggest things that will be talked about is not just in myths and legends, but also as worshipable icons.
Right, okay.
Deities are
Yeah.
represented with having animalistic traits as
Right.
well. So, despite the shared history, what isn't always shared amongst these supernatural legends is the nature of these creatures.
Okay.
While not all are known specifically for doing harm, we're not here to discuss nice critters on this one,
Right.
especially not today.
Right.
Skinwalkers, specifically those of Navajo tradition, should be considered harmful and extremely dangerous.
Okay.
We're not talking a Harry and the Hendersons misunderstanding of Bigfoot here.
Right.
We're talking like, no, this is a cautionary tale for a reason.
Okay.
So let's get into the legend.
Okay.
In Navajo culture, a person who devotes themselves to the healing and betterment of the lives of those in their community are considered to be a medicine man or woman.
Okay.
Those who would do harm against their own or others through a twisting of these values, or a manipulation of the magics intended only for good or natural order, are considered, and I know I'm going to butcher this because Navajo is the hardest language per capita to ever pronounce, Antijni.
Okay.
Those who would do these things negatively are known as Antijni, or a traditionally evil witch.
Okay. Your classic bad shaman.
Yes.
Okay.
When a little bit further though, because did a little research into this, it gets way nastier than your evil shaman, where it would be more akin to like it'd be more akin to like a warlock myth. Okay. Because, well, I'll talk about it. Okay. Within the legends of these evil shamans is where you will find the Yinaldulshi. Yinaldulshi. Yeah, I double-checked pronunciation several times, and that is the best I can do with my own pitiful mouth. Which is why, by the way, there's only one other word that is a cultural word that I will be saying in this, because I don't feel comfortable bastardizing someone's language. Yeah. So, aka Skinwalkers are the Yinaldulshi. Okay. Now, before also I continue, something else needs to be said. I feel it prudent to express that I will not be delving into as much Navajo culture for a very specific reason. I do not wish to delve any further into their traditions in this discourse, because the Navajo have traditionally expressed a severe reluctance and disapproval at any revelatory story or expansion upon their cultural beliefs and histories. They don't like it as part of the beliefs. They are not really to be shared outside of a tribe. And mostly out of fear of further misrepresentation of their beliefs by non-natives.
And there are a lot of natives around where we live. We're like not very far from the Osage Hills. I know all of the Cherokee and everybody. I know they all have their own version of the Skinwalker, but good luck getting them to talk to you about it, because it's just not how they roll.
It is absolutely never my intention in any way, shape, or form to misrepresent a culture, or to ever engage in cultural appropriation.
And since we won't be getting anyone on the show from one of those tribes
to talk
about it.
Exactly. We're treading cautiously, both mythologically and practically, because ain't nobody's myth going to be a prom dress on this show.
Exactly.
So I intend to honor their stance by sticking primarily to speculative discourse and representations of skinwalkers in the modern zeitgeist of horror and general creepy things.
Pop culture.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the current understanding of skinwalkers in the realm of the paranormal enthusiast describes them as men and women guilty of consorting with dark forces and becoming irrevocably altered into a malignant, shape-shifting being through the use of various tools and magics. Apart from their supernatural therianthropy, a skinwalker can be identified as a human male or female, typically hairier than their fellows, and possessing some animalistic physical traits such as a stockier frame or predatory countenance, something you've talked about on this show with serial killers.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
They are commonly seen wearing the pelt of the animal they can transform into, but several myths also claim that they are not limited to just one.
Okay.
But they will often be festooned with an animal pelt. Anybody out there who has ever paid attention to any other myths and legends of any other culture, you may be reminded of the berserkers in Nordic mythology, festooning themselves with the blood and skin of bears, and then drinking a very weird concoction of fermented bear urine.
There was only one time on this show in which we did, in fact, get we didn't get the interview, but we got to listen, we got to hear a native man speak about the Skinwalker.
Oh, really?
I just realized this, and it was in the Girl Scout camp, the Girl Scout murders case. There was actually go listen to it if you're interested in that, because we did the way he described it was basically good shaman versus bad shaman. in this whole thing. And the suspect was actually, they had thought there for a while, could possibly be a Skinwalker. Because...
I didn't realize that. Was that one committed on tribal land?
Yes. I'm pretty sure all of it is tribal land, because all of the camps, whatever, are named after different tribes, and I know it's all tribal up there around it. And there's so many tribal members in there that they had to get basically an undercover tribal member in there to talk to people. And there was a lot of talk about shamans, a lot of talk about good shaman versus bad shaman, and a lot of talk about a black dog being seen around the area and that would just disappear before this horrible thing happened, and then apparently can still be seen there to this day if you're treading on tribal lands.
Well, now that's interesting for other reasons. Would take another episode to explain.
Yes, and just shortly...
because that's a black dog.
Yes, a black dog. It was a black dog. And
that's a Madi-Do.
oh.
Yeah, that's something completely different that still ties into things shamanistically, and it's also very weird that they identified it as a black dog in this myth.
And it was, even the dogs, like when they went to search for the suspect, they're searching in the woods and throughout these caves and stuff. And he even explains that the tribal OSBI agent explains that, like, they had dogs on the scent, and then they would get into the middle of a field and they would just lose the scent. There was nowhere for this suspect to go but up.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So anyway, if you want to hear about that, that's the only time, and it's only because it was straight from his mouth. So you want to hear about it, go listen to our Girl Scout murders episodes. But anyway,
in this regard, you'll hear in just a second here, that's very interesting that they specifically mentioned it was a black dog. That's actually rather uncommon.
Really?
Yes. Several myths, like I said, claim that they are not limited to just one animal.
Okay.
Some legends depict skinwalkers as also having the ability to... This is where it gets real fun. And this is where you wind up seeing skinwalkers in the modern media as well. Some legends claim that they have the ability to steal faces. This kind of owes to an older belief in the legend that's a similar belief held across numerous myths and legends of never locking eyes with a skinwalker.
Okay.
The eyes are the gateway to the soul in a lot of old myths and legend. By doing so with a skinwalker, they have the ability to literally climb into your body and become you.
You give me chills.
Yeah.
I literally just got chills. I was thinking about the skinwalkers that are portrayed in Supernatural. They literally do a lot of focusing on the eyes. Like, even in the show, you can tell a skinwalker is on camera because their eyes reflect, and humans do not reflect. But
except for if you're in extreme stress and you've gone bonkers. See the famous picture from World War I of the man who had lost his mind in the trenches, who has the shine in his eyes.
You know what? That's always been a thing too. Is that have you ever seen that weird short video that was, I don't even remember where it was at. It was like a short TikTok video or something, and it was like, humans' eyes don't shine, and it was a human on foot at night chasing someone in a car, and they go fast enough to catch up with them next to the car, and the camera pans over, and this human's eyes are glowing.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
It's like, we're in danger.
Just to let you all know, typically human eyes do not reflect normal ambient light the same way that a cat or dog or owl would.
Right.
It has to be more intense light for it to reflect off of our retinas.
Right.
Which you will see in a picture and not in nature.
Not in real life.
You see it in real life, be concerned.
Yes, you should be very concerned.
Treat them with dignity and don't look them in the eye. Other things about the skinwalkers: when in their alternate forms, skinwalkers typically appear as preternaturally white creatures.
Really?
The oldest traditions show them as appearing as white creatures. And I don't mean like going in old like Celto-European myths of your unicorn or your white stag or like a kind of radiant being. I mean the other kind of white that is disturbing that it's white.
Yeah.
In the case of like bone or
Yeah, like
rock
that
or-
almost off-white, yellowish.
or ash.
Yeah, ash. Yeah.
And that's also very important
Okay.
later on. Keep ashes in mind.
Okay.
Often they are known to display uncharacteristic or unnatural movements as well. Now comes a fun speculation moment.
In their form?
In their animal form.
Oh, okay.
Or even in their humanoid form.
Okay. Okay.
They are depicted as being, when you see, just to let you know, the idea behind this is largely equated to, if you've seen a horror movie with recently, like demons or some kind of poltergeist or something that's doing that whole herking and jerking, and you can't focus on them because parts of them are moving insanely fast,
Yeah.
and other parts look like they're breaking their bones to walk.
Yeah.
That.
Okay.
If
I
you-
hate that,
Yeah.
by the way.
Oh yeah, no one ever wants to find that in the middle of the friggin' woods.
Oh, no.
It's like, oh look, it's a deer. Why is it white? Why are its eyes on fire?
Oh my
Why is it walking like it didn't load properly in a video game?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
That's creepy.
those are basic traits of them. Now, one thing, if this all sounds really freaking cool and everything as far as monsters go, because as a paranoid and as a conspiracy junkie, I have over the years met a lot of people who idolize certain dark and spooky things, and I'm gonna tell you,
Probably romanticize it.
exactly.
Yeah.
If you're humoring the idea of adopting a pro-fur stance and introducing yourself as a skinwalker at parties, don't. Do not do this. This isn't your weird monster romance story that was really more about domestic abuse. Sorry, that's the reason those stories tick me off.
Yeah.
But besides committing cultural appropriation, according to legend, you are inviting disaster
Oh, no.
entirely. Skinwalkers only receive their bestial abilities through direct rejection of their humanity,
Oh, no.
typically through the committing of a heinous taboo. And I do not mean the just murder
Okay.
taboo.
Okay, so since we're talking about taboos, can we talk about the Wendigo? Because I know that
This is where they are similar.
Okay, because I know at least with the Wendigo, they are transformed by not murder, but actually cannibalism.
Correct.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be in violence or malignancy.
Right. No, it could just be out of desperation or starvation, but you still do it.
Desperation.
Yeah.
It's the hunger.
Yeah.
The Wendigo falls closer to the ghoul in
Right.
Celto-European myth, the
Okay.
white. It's a similar creature. It's humanity being at a dangerously desperate point and foregoing your humanity in order to survive. Well, that at its core is literally predation.
Yeah.
That's predatory.
Yeah.
Skinwalkers, in this case, are very similar except for one thing. They may not be doing it intentionally, but they are doing it in a way that they don't care.
Right.
In other words, it is an act of malignancy, these taboos. And it's specifically, if you hunt these down, what is some of these, you can find these, but some of those taboos include murder is one thing.
Yeah.
There's a difference between, though, in many old cultures, there's a difference between murder and cruelty.
Yeah, like heinous.
Heinous.
Heinous murders.
As in, you killed a person's family before you killed them.
Yeah.
Now, that's the basic one. The ones that this is where I said I would only use one other major cultural word here, because now we're going to tiptoe into what is known as ecclesiati.
Okay.
Ecclesiati being the penultimate of an evil witch in this tradition. This is someone who not only committed one of these taboos or a couple, but they largely did it to direct friends and family. These taboos include almost all the crimes you have spoken about in this show.
Oh.
Murder, cannibalism, incest, assault, and just generally causing a huge problem for the community that can result in their deaths.
That's good. Good.
Yeah. These are the more powerful Skinwalkers. They're the ones that you will see attributed to also using the tools of the trade of the Skinwalker, most notably the bone dust.
The bone dust?
Skinwalkers are regularly attributed to a direct shamanistic thaumaturgy of utilizing an item of anything, of any person. It does not have to be their blood. It does not have to be their bones or their hair or any. It could literally be a single thread from your shirt.
Okay.
Because they're that powerful with what they do. Mm-hmm. Then utilizing a combination of that item, usually fractured pottery. I do not have enough time to go into the importance of pottery in tribal tradition and what it actually stands for.
Yeah.
Just understand that creation is magic, kids.
Yeah.
A piece of fractured pottery, the item in question, and preferably the occipital plate of the skull and several other smaller bones of infants, preferably twins. Burned together and ground together into a powder that can be utilized for everything from manipulation to causing nightmares to straight up killing you through fright, to just torture you psychologically.
So spells and magic and hexes and stuff like that.
The old school. The old
Okay.
school kind. More emotive than direct.
Okay.
So it's really fun there for a parallel to voodoo. In certain regards.
Okay, yeah.
This behavior degrades their spirit, the Skinwalker, and this is what allows them to profanely alter their forms. Things like this. They do not have an issue with these things. The corpse powder itself, which that is the actual phrase, by the way, if you look up myths and legends, is a thing that extends in human history forever. Corpse powder is used in numerous traditions.
I know it's used in
religions
voodoo.
and old things.
Yeah.
But, sorry, this is where we're going to get into the darker part.
This isn't dark yet?
Well, the thing is with this is that, so the only thing powerful enough to sustain these misshapen creatures is what they actually do this for. This is where, I promise you, I mean this as dark. This is going to sound silly, and to anybody who has been listening to this podcast is going to go, okay, sure, whatever, real scary. But I want this to sink in as far as when approaching cryptids or the supernatural. Mm-hmm. Wendigos prey on humans. They eat people.
Right.
That is part and parcel to what they are. Mm-hmm. Skinwalkers do not. They can, if they need to, for something they want to do. Mm-hmm. They can if they also just want to do it in front of you. Mm-hmm. They're the kind that you would turn...
They're the Hannibal Lecters of the world.
Well, in old literary sense, they're an Earl King in German mythology. You have a creature that will torture you to the ends of the earth while you're trying to protect your own child, and they've tricked you into not understanding that they killed your child hours ago.
Oh, good.
That's what a Skinwalker does, because what the Skinwalker is actually preying on is your fear.
Ah.
It is old emotional magic.
Can we talk a little bit
absolutely.
pop culture right here?
Yeah.
Okay, because I already have one in mind, and it is one of my favorite, I loved the book, but favorite movies of all time. It.
Bingo.
So that is, 100% what it is.
Exactly.
It changes its form constantly to fit the fear of who it's trying to feed off of, and that's exactly what it eats, is fear, period.
It needs you to be afraid of it.
Yes.
Because that is how it survives.
Now, granted, it can and does eat you.
Yeah.
But like you said, that's only because it wants to.
In doing that, it increases the fear of the rest of its prey.
Exactly, yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
and that old kind of myth, those old kinds of myths and legends and
Yeah.
everything. It's weird. I told you too. It's like you hit the nail on the head earlier talking about the other Stephen King story, Skinwalkers, which for any of you who remember that weird coked out movie and everything,
The book was really good.
it actually hits the nail on the head. What's the ickiest part of that movie, Raven?
Can I say that here?
I said the word earlier.
The incestual part of it?
Yes. That is
Yeah.
why, unfortunately, that movie is actually kind of an apt depiction.
Because it's the taboo part. And, of course, the murder, but the incest. And
And in that movie, is there ever a moment where they feel bad about their actual actions?
oh, no.
The only thing they're ever concerned about is just having to move again.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, they're only, I mean, just like with any of them, really. They only get concerned when it comes down to them getting caught.
See, I kind of figured this was going to probably be a little. Anybody who is actually paying attention to this, who is an enthusiast in this regard, would have already had the moment of like, get to it. What's the moral? What's the parable? What's their motive?
Yeah.
And everything. And the answer is, if I had to put this out there myself, it's why Skinwalkers typically find themselves in the upper echelon of considered really bad when you look at cryptids. In other words, they're in the upper tier of paranormal threats, because when you read up on their legends and you study them, there are far more dangerous legendary creatures out there. It's because, though, there isn't a motive like the Wendigo. There isn't a genuine normal human understanding or relatability to these. These fall under, in literary terms, they are technically force of nature villains.
Yeah.
They can't be reasoned with because there's nothing to reason with.
Right.
And
it do what it do.
Yeah, there's so much you can't reason.
And that's what makes it so terrifying, though, is
Yeah.
because you can't reason with it.
It gets very similar to talking when you have those reports of talking to certain psychopaths.
Yeah.
They have no reason to apologize because
They straight up think they didn't do anything wrong.
exactly.
Yeah.
They're just who they are.
Yeah.
As Skinwalkers are creatures, creepers, misshapen.
They are creepers.
They're misshapen by their hubris of rejecting their humanity. You'll see a similar note in loads of myths and other creatures, but it's that idea of the rejection of one's humanity willingly in an action. This is why they are functionally cursed in this idea. They enjoy great power over others, but they no longer possess an ability to deny the urge to harm others, making them a terrifying and guaranteed threat. They don't need to eat you to survive. They just need you to know that they can.
Yeah. Can I reference another Stephen King villain here?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so that got me thinking about, we were just talking about It, which was the Fear Eater, and your basic Skinwalker. But Stephen King has another villain, and this is one of my very favorite. I have a lot of favorite Stephen King books. He's my favorite. But one of my favorite books of his is The Outsider. And have you read or seen The Outsider? Okay, so The Outsider has a lot of characters in it from the Mr. Mercedes series. The Outsider is one of these same characters finding something else going on in another town. What it is, instead of a fear eater, it's a grief eater.
Oh.
And what it does is, imagine if you could commit a murder, and in today's day and age, we're like, well, you could never really frame anyone anymore because with all DNA and evidence and everything like that. But imagine if you could commit a crime and frame someone with their own DNA evidence.
Oh my.
Okay, so take that concept, because that's what The Outsider is.
I mean, that's a large part of the conspiracies I pander to,
Yeah.
so yes.
So The Outsider is a skinwalker, and what he does is he takes the shape of the human. by getting their blood, their DNA somehow, and it takes him a while to transform into this human, but when he does, he wreaks absolute havoc. He will insert himself into the family. He will choose a family, and then he will kill said family, or what his favorite thing to do is kill a child. And he will sometimes eat some of the child while he is doing this heinous thing, and he does other horrible things to the children, torture and stuff like that. And of course, that fear, of course, he's eating off of that fear, but he loves the grief. And so when he's done with that, he did that as someone else, in someone else's skin with someone else's DNA.
I see.
He sheds that off, he picks someone else, he moves on, but he sticks around
to feed off of
the grief.
Yes.
He'll feed off of the grief of, he'll go to the funeral. He'll watch. Basically, the outsider he does this several times, but the big case in it is a child, and he is in the form of a little league coach who has his own children. And so when he blames it on this, and these people who he's turning into, it's DNA evidence. It's their DNA evidence, but there's all this conflicting evidence. Like there will be a video of them states away, but their DNA is at the scene. And he just keeps on that whole investigation. You know how the media eats stuff like that up. And so he feeds off of that until there's nothing left to feed off of.
The zeitgeist is a truly strong geist. But no, absolutely. That falls under the same category of the genuinely don't fuck around with these.
Well, and there was even another one that he mentioned in If It Bleeds. It's the same private investigator later, and she comes across another grief-eating skinwalker. And what he's doing is he's actually a news broadcaster, the ones who go into the field, and they're like, broadcasting live from... And what he does is he goes to tragedies.
So it's basically a skinwalker who learned how to cook.
Yes,
is what it is.
Yes, I was about to say.
Yeah,
because he hadn't got powerful enough to the point of killing anyone yet. But what he does is he stays as that one person for decades and decades, so that he can go out and he feeds off of the grief off of the people around this tragedy.
Meantime, he can promote the fear-mongering and the sadness and stir up emotions.
We're talking about stuff like he went to a school shooting, and he was there on scene for that and just eating it up. And so
that thing that you actually advertise and advocate against on this show.
Yes. Yeah. So, I think I just realized Stephen King likes skinwalkers. I didn't realize there were so many of them in his works.
Stephen King likes shapeshifters and old myths.
Yeah.
Because if you also pay attention to Salem's Lot, how weird are those vampires?
I know. See, that's what Yeah. Are they vampires, or are they actually...
Stephen King has actually been on record as admitting numerous times his primary influence himself was Lovecraft. He prefers that which the mind tries to recognize, but is in fact beyond your capability of understanding.
I just love him so much.
Which, in my personal opinion, the one that he did that actually capitalizes on that the most is Cujo.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a family pet who is a very defensive and friendly pet and loves his family as a good dog would. And then you completely lose that with rabies. Yeah. But that kind of tale is exactly what you see in the myths of the Skinwalker, and what you see in some of these in the upper tier of don't touch, don't approach.
Yeah, and that was the biggest thing in The Outsider. I mean, one little tiny touch.
Yeah.
One guy, he got him just by shaking his hand, and he kind of curled his finger while he was shaking his hand and just barely scratched him. Done.
That's it.
Wrecked his entire life, his entire world. Yeah. So that's very daunting.
The actual Skinwalker myth specifically describes that they don't they don't need anything other than a single hair
Yeah.
or a piece of an item that you once possessed, not actively possessed, something that was tied to you in some way, shape, or form that you interacted with. They can curse you or just hunt you forever. And that's why the Skinwalkers exist in that parable state, that hard parable state in cultural myths of this is not a cryptid to be pursuing because it's not a life to be pursuing. This is something that is supposed to be ostracized and is evil.
Now, the difference, just really quick, the difference in, now I know this, but for the listeners who maybe aren't into this and they're going, ooh, this is really interesting, I want to dive more into this. So real quick, what's the difference in a skinwalker and a werewolf?
A skinwalker and a werewolf, while they both fall under therianthropy and everything as shapeshifters in the first place, they both also morally fall under the same tales of someone's humanity leaving them as they convert into a more bestial form.
Right.
Then you also have to watch out for the various werewolf myths that are out there. The traditional one that everybody is largely familiar of, though, with lycanthropy would be the traditional European German myth, I believe. It is either Celtic or Germanic in origin as far as the traditional werewolf. But one of the primary differences that you see in a werewolf and in most werewolf stories is that werewolves are, it just depends, because the original legends of the werewolves can show them as being genuinely, no, they're fine with it. They're beasts, they're murderous, they enjoy it, and they enjoy hunting and killing men and women. But then there's also the curse.
Right.
Idea.
Okay, and yes, and that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about, was the curse idea. Because in some myths that I've heard, shamans are the ones that bestowed the werewolf curse in the first place.
Oh, and that one is in loads of media and other stories too. And yes, that is a folktale and legend that you will hear of in different cultures. I mean, going back on your love of Stephen King, Thinner.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Do not,
and even Silver Bullet.
do not offend an old Romany person ever. It's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's not cool. It's not a good idea. Don't ever do that. But it's one of those things that's part of those cautionary tales and those ideas of expressing hubris, behaving like a beast, and then you are a beast.
Yeah.
And that's where you see these creatures, and they're interesting parallels to draw to your own cases that you work on this show.
They really are.
The idea of, was someone forced to reject their humanity due to actions committed against them, and that's the only way they could survive, versus someone who was born that way.
Right. And so, like, with the curse, the thing that you hear the most, okay, there are a lot of rules that seem to go with werewolves.
The silver thing is a later addition.
Yeah.
By the way. The typical ancient werewolf myths are identical to vampires. They're the same. It's the same creature. And it is very similar to a skinwalker.
Okay.
As far as how they go, they are either they died and their body was taken over by an evil force, or they committed some heinous atrocity, either in life and then they were cursed, or they died from the atrocity and they came back in this case. But every single major story about them is, when you break them down, it is about a hubristic punishment, and yet they themselves don't actually experience too much of a punishment because they are no longer caring.
Right. And I was just about to say, one of the biggest things about it is that, what happens, a lot of it is that it only happens on a full moon when they turn into a werewolf. And that when they turn into a werewolf, they are animalistic, they are unthinking, really, they just savagely attack whatever is closest to them, so on and so forth. And so, yeah, there's really no... the biggest, I guess, The biggest thing would be you waking up tomorrow and you've accidentally killed your entire family.
Yeah.
But then again, what did you do to get cursed in the first place? Was it a curse placed on you specifically, or are we going with the old standard of, well, you had to get bitten by a werewolf?
And you see, in that itself can be considered, I know that I've actually seen discourse on this one before, of talking about the bite of the werewolf.
Yeah.
The infectious side of that is actually more of a cautionary tale for pandering to inhumane acts.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, turning a blind eye at suffering in the streets, or casually just being an asshole, as in punching somebody or killing animals or things like that. When you get into a lot of these old cryptid stories and everything, every single one of them is some kind of hubristic nightmare that's some form of justice being meted out.
So I wanted to also bring up in a lot of pop culture references.
Pardon me, with one exception.
Which is?
There's a German myth that was turned into a lovely opera called Der Freischütz, the Magic Huntsman.
Okay.
In that story, it's kind of hard to tell who the bad guy is, actually, because you have on one side a magic huntsman who has a rifle that is magical. He can make the bullet go anywhere he wants. It's an old musket, and he can make the bullet go anywhere he wants. On the other hand, you have a dark sorcerer who is depicted as a werewolf, and it's about those two hunting each other. But the werewolf throughout the story is regularly depicted as not being such a bad guy.
Oh.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting opera to look up. Der Freischütz is a very interesting story.
Weird.
Yeah. But it is also clearly established that the werewolf is a monster the whole time. It will still eat people, but it's not really mean about it.
Well, and I think that's a theme that we see a lot with werewolves, is the fact that they themselves, sometimes as humans, maybe they have come to some sort of redemption when they're in their human form, and they go as far as to lock themselves up or, whatever, when they're going to turn, because it's still their curse of whatever it was that happened, whatever it was they did, but they've met some sort of redemption. They're actually pretty good people now.
But in as such, also as Little Red Riding Hood
I was just about
as
to...
Little Red Riding
That's what
Hood
I was
was
gonna
a
bring up.
cautionary tale against sexual assault.
Yeah.
The ideas of the werewolf too, it's like, and as an investigator yourself and as an EMS professional myself, and also just living in this state, Raven, what's it like when there's a full moon in Oklahoma?
It's freaking wild, man.
It's going to be a headline is what it is.
Well, I mean, every single first responder that I know, and I know a lot of first responders, literally go, oh my God, it's going to be a full moon. Please don't let me be on the schedule tomorrow.
And that has never changed in human history. It's like...
There's something about a full moon. There's something that just in humanity that makes us act crazy under a full moon.
I purposely pander to the idea that all terrestrial creatures are full of liquid, and the moon is our primary water jiggler.
Well, you're not wrong.
And it just makes us feel weird.
Could be something with it. I mean, I'm just saying.
When people feel weird, what is the first form of human discourse that we take on weird? How many people automatically go to the doctor when they feel weird?
Not a lot of them.
Most people deny.
Yeah.
And denial.
There's nothing wrong with me.
Denial of feeling weird inevitably causes someone to try to violently disagree with someone that there's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
I know. And
thus, werewolves.
And another thing that I wanted to bring up was in modern pop culture, let's say like Twilight, or even like the Sookie Stackhouse books.
Ooh, yeah.
So a lot of those things depict the werewolf actually transforming in its transformed state is a wolf itself.
Correct.
And that is actually a skinwalker. That is not a werewolf.
The anthropomorphized version of a werewolf largely did not manifest until more around the 1800s in popular in popular culture of the era.
Yeah.
I mean, Bram Stoker did a lot for horror, okay?
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, hell, if you actually go back and read Bram Stoker's Dracula,
Mm-hmm.
Dracula is less of a vampire as you recognize them to be and more of a skinwalker.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind. Like when you're seeing stuff like that, that is more of what a skinwalker is. Your werewolves are the big man, like truck-sized humanoid with the giant wolf face. And
Yeah.
can I just say, I don't want to spoil anything for you because another pop culture reference. I don't want to spoil anything for you because we're going to eventually play this together. But in
Talk about Until Dawn.
no, I'm going to talk about the Quarry.
Oh, okay.
You're not going to like what they look like. I'll just tell you that
Okay.
right now.
All right. Okie dokie. Okie doke.
That is not. Now, granted, there are some liberties to be taken because these things have been done so many times over and over again that sometimes if you want to visit that good old vampire story or that good old werewolf story, you feel like you need to change it up somehow. You feel like you need to do something different, and that's fine. If it's your story, you do what you want.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying,
Like I said, I don't have a problem with the vampires sparkling. I have a problem with domestic abuse.
right.
It's like, whatever. They're
so-
super pretty. That's what it is. Sure. Okay. Whatever.
I actually have a lot of issues with the Quarry, but we'll get to that. I'm sure I eventually want to do. We're starting a different new podcast where we can actually have some fun with instead of just talking about dreary stuff all the time. But we're starting another one, I Crit You Not, and we're probably going to do some like gaming reviews and stuff like that. And so we're for sure going to review that at some point in the future.
Fantastic.
But just so you know, everything in it is horse shit.
Fantastic.
So speaking of the Quarry, I want to kind of backpedal a bit to Until Dawn.
Okay.
This is another one that you haven't played. We're going to play
It's
this.
okay. I know most of the game.
Well, we're going to play this one together probably this winter because it's a really great winter horror game. The Wendigos in it are great.
The images I've seen of them are genuinely terrifying.
I loved that game. I love all of their series after that, the Dark Anthology series, and they did a great job at the depiction. They are truly terrifying, and it is what I feel like it's the closest in mythology that I can find because they are kind of considered skinwalkers.
Let me ask you a question about them because we're going to talk about Wendigos.
Okay.
I'll just bring this up.
We're going into Wendigos again now.
First and foremost, Wendigo myths are kind of interesting because there is a clear line of demarcation between two very different types of Wendigos. There are the Wendigos that are very much like that game, that look ghoulish and very much like the old European white of a creature that has consumed human flesh and has now consumed themselves of the hunger to consume human flesh.
Ghoulish, that's the word I was looking for. Yes, ghoulish.
Then there's the older myth that if you see a Wendigo and you can see their feet, they're not a Wendigo. Wendigos leave no tracks because they do not actually have feet.
What?
They walk as if they don't have. They walk as if they have feet, but they have no feet. They do not interact with the ground.
What?
And they can
That's
be
creepy.
anywhere from 7 to 15 feet tall.
Oh my gosh.
And hide amongst the trees. And they're often depicted as well as having massive deer antlers.
Oh, really?
Oh yes, there's two very different paths that the Wendigo myth takes, depending on which tribe is telling you the story of the Wendigo, and also how it has that tribe's story has adapted over the years. But the only thing that is unique amongst that is that at some point the Wendigo, wherever it came from, was either a man or a woman who gave in to the hunger and ate of human flesh.
There is a really, really, really great depiction of it. Now, granted, it didn't have antlers and it didn't not have feet, but I really liked the depiction of it because let me just tell you what it was in. Have you seen? It's an old show. It came out probably in 2000, late 2000s. It might have even been earlier than that. It was called Fear Itself.
I've heard of it.
I have it on DVD. It literally had one season. I was so sad. It was like the very first kind of anthology series where they did something different. But anyway, they had an episode in there. I think it's called The Hunger, but it's a Wendigo. So it's basically, it starts with this ranch in the mountains, and they have this family running this ranch. They have a ranch hand who is in fact a Native American. I can't remember from which tribe because I can't remember where this takes place at. But I want to say it was like some sort of mountain range, Appalachians or something like that. But anyway, so the ranch owner is taking a bunch of people out to sightsee along this trail, whatever. And they end up getting stuck in the mountains for a couple of weeks, and he ends up being the only survivor. Dun dun dun, because he ate them all.
Yeah.
And when he gets back, it gets so terrifying. The guy who plays it,
The show is starting to sound really cool.
Doug Jones.
Oh, God.
He was the one.
Oh, yeah. No. I know Doug Jones.
He was the one who played Billy, the zombie guy in Hocus Pocus. He's been in so many things where they
Doug Jones is a master
Hellboy.
of. He's a master of the makeup arts.
Yes.
He currently plays Saru on Star Trek Discovery. He was the faun in Pan's Labyrinth.
Yes, he was in The Shape of Water.
He's also in John Dies at the End, but
Yeah.
it's like
and he is the aquatic guy in Hellboy. I forget what.
Abe Sapien.
Abe Sapien. Yes. So anyway, yeah, he is the main guy in this story, and oh my God, he looks fantastic. Number one, they did this thing where they kind of like retract, because he's been in the mountains for so long, and he's only been eating humans. He has been using snow as water, and so he's so like sunken in, and he looks so like.
I mean, that's actually what he looks like in real life, right?
I understand
Okay,
that, and I think that's why they chose him.
Well, that's why he's such a good makeup specialist,
Yes.
is because he has those
He's
ridiculous cheekbones.
He is a rail, and he can do any of that, but he just looks so fantastic. And they gave him on the tips of his fingers and the tips of his frostbite. They gave him frostbite on the tips of his fingers and on his feet, and so everything is black. And like his like gum line is recessed. Like, it's just so creepy. And all he does really for the first little half of that is lay in bed and be creepy as fuck. That's all he does. And you're like, okay, no one wants to go in the room with this guy because he hasn't told anybody his story. He hasn't told anybody what happened up there. And then like sheep start dying. And something has eaten the sheep overnight. And then their pigs start dying, and something's eaten the pigs overnight. And then it goes bigger. The cattle are going down. Now the horses are going down. And then it gets to the point where he obviously has nowhere to go. And he needs to sustain himself, so he goes after the family. And it is so like, oh my gosh, it just gives me chills. You really need to watch it. It's called Fear Itself. It has a lot of great episodes, but that one is really good.
On the other side, I actually have weirdly enough, a favorite Wendigo movie.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I love anything Wendigo. I don't know. That's like one of my favorite cryptids.
It's because of how I approach this too. The idea of what's the actual story or meaning behind these creatures.
Yeah.
Because this one, there's nothing really supernatural blatantly in it. It's because it is a tale of hubris.
Yeah.
It's a tale of desperation, and it's a tale of human morality. And the way that it's depicted just gets worse and worse and worse.
Oh.
It's a movie from the late 90s, anyone who ever saw this, called Ravenous.
I've heard of that, but I've never actually watched it. I'm going to have to put that on my list.
Ravenous is about an American cavalryman who is basically sent out during westward expansion, aka Manifest Destiny, to a far northwest outpost. And he is a troubled man. He is an insanely troubled man, but he is a war hero. He's a war hero from I believe it's the Spanish-American War, because he's a survivor of the conflicts with Santa Anna. He survived. Well, actually, I'm not going to spoil it for you, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
But I'll just say that the underlying principle of this movie is there are so many times that you kind of expect to see a monster in this movie, and there is never a direct monster. There is, however, some weird credence given to cannibalism. It is a very bizarre film, and it pertains directly to the myth of the Wendigo.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch that one.
Yeah.
Ravenous?
Ravenous.
Okay.
It is a very strange horror film that is not your typical cannibal hillbillies in the mountains kind of situation,
Yeah.
but it is the same idea. It's a lonely outpost and people going crazy.
Okay, and that's another thing. Is the Wendigo thing just something that happens in mountainous areas, like in mountainous wooded areas?
Oh, no.
Or is it a forest thing?
Just like every shaman...
Or is it like Native American land, period?
Just like every human culture has a therianthropic myth about shapeshifting and skinwalkers, every single culture has a cautionary monster story about cannibalism.
Right.
We all have a
And so
story.
it can
we
happen
all
anywhere.
have a cryptid and monster out there that is tied
Okay.
to cannibalism.
So basically,
Extreme environments and any
Yes.
place where you could starve
Yes.
is where you will find.
That's what I was about to
is
say.
where you will find cannibalism-induced cryptids.
right, okay. All right. Yeah, that's checking out now because
Remote islands, stuck on
Yeah.
a boat,
Okay.
up in the mountains,
So
stuck in the desert.
so it could definitely happen in the Bahamas.
Absolutely.
If you get stranded on an island.
Humanity has known for our 400,000 something years so far, and whatever we've been before, that if we get to a point that we don't have food, we'll start eating each other.
Yeah.
That's the actual moral.
Yeah. And of course, werewolves take place just about everywhere. Skinwalkers take place just about everywhere.
Exactly. It's
So-
the same. And that's the cool thing about these kinds of cryptids. The ones that are hard tied to a legend rather than just a modern urban legend.
Right.
That's the really fascinating thing, is that these are clearly cautionary tales based on an experience.
Right.
So yeah, with Skinwalkers and other things like that, that's pretty much what I approach. Because anything else, we would have to unfortunately traipse a little harder
Right.
into Navajo tradition, and I am not comfortable doing that.
I think we've done a pretty good job so far, actually.
As far as this goes, though, I can recommend, if you want to be genuinely, if you favor yourself a pleasantly cynical skeptic like myself, or if you also just want some surprises, Skinwalker videos on YouTube are very fun. There are Skinwalker videos out there. You don't look for the ones that are literally labeled Skinwalker. It's usually the ones going, did I just see a Skinwalker?
Yeah.
Those are the best ones. And if your first two comments are someone saying meth is a hell of a drug, you know you found the right videos.
Oh, no.
Because as an EMS professional, I can tell you now, even in my limited time being an EMS professional, I have seen the amazing spectrum
Yeah.
of meth-induced mutations that occur in the human body.
Yeah.
And the best ones are once you've witnessed those things and you see the videos, and no drug explains what you just saw.
Yeah, you can clearly see the difference in especially
Exactly.
how their bodies are moving.
And another thing, just to warn you, if you do get into looking up cryptid stuff, don't discount bad camera footage.
Yeah.
What you discount is if it says it was just released a year ago and it's
Right.
like shot on a cell phone from 1998,
Yeah.
that's garbage. If it's just shaky and incapable of focusing, that means somebody was actually scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's you start learning to recognize when someone was legitimately terrified versus when somebody is pretending to be terrified.
Right. Yeah.
There's a deliberate shake that they do versus the "oh God" sudden reaction.
That kind of wraps up our Skinwalkers for Cryptids Unscripted. If you enjoyed this, which I did, I enjoyed talking about it, and I enjoy a little change up, especially around spooky season. If you enjoyed it, let us know. Let us know what maybe kind of cryptid you want to hear about next.
Absolutely. I adore tracking down any form, especially cultural ones, like local creatures that have a specific lore to them. Those are the best.
That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We will for sure do this again in the future. We might do it at spooky season. We might do it before spooky season. We might do it whenever we freaking feel like it.
And absolutely send in your myths, legends, favorite cryptids, and everything.
Yeah, if you want to hear about one, let us know.
I am going to warn anybody who gets smart alecky and tries to push Bigfoot. You are not going to like my opinion on Bigfoot.
I know.
Not for the reasons you think.
Well, yeah. This is Oklahoma. We have a lot of Bigfoot enthusiasts around here, and when I know that that's like the prevalent thing in the area, is the thing that I seem to want to stay away from the most.
Don't get me wrong. If people send in a demand that we talk about Bigfoot, I will talk about Bigfoot, and I will tell you it's not gonna go the way that most people want it to.
Yeah.
It's just it.
But yeah, absolutely. Send us your requests. You can join our Facebook group, the Sirens Podcast group, and request there. You can send us an email. You can get on our website and contact us.
Don't forget to check out the merch store where we'll be selling Sirens aluminum hats from now on.
I might actually put some Cryptids Unscripted shirts in there. You don't know.
Raven made me a very delightful shirt that is adorable.
I love it.
I love every part of it.
So yeah, thank you guys for listening to us. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks, Simon, for coming and explaining cryptids.
Anytime. With any other ones, it's going to get even weirder from here, because Skinwalkers, while fascinating to talk about, in my personal opinion, are some of the most basic cryptids.
Okay.
There are way crazier cryptids out there.
I requested Skinwalkers this time because Skinwalkers are my favorite, obviously. I have a lot of pop culture references that, have kind of built my brain around Skinwalkers, and
there's nothing wrong with that. They are one of the absolute best also to introduce.
Yeah.
If you want to introduce the concept of a monster and an animal at the same time that has a cultural legend, that's really one of the best.
It's one of the easiest to understand, and it's one of my favorites. So I wanted to do that one first, but you can absolutely influence what we do next, and if you don't, then I'm going to let Simon choose.
If you guys give me the steering wheel, it's going to get weird.
Thank you for listening to this chapter of conversations with some of our world's dark storytellers. This story may be over for now.
The next chapter is always waiting to be written.
Until then,
Dreadfully yours, Raven Rollins.